Hello, everybody. This is part 12 of What If Naruto Was Trained by 4 kunoichi. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for cutting off in the last video and making it two-parter again. I'll try not to do that. No promises, but I hope it doesn't happen again. Anyways, let's begin. Tuning exams. Damn it. The one before the final one. Team 7 has arrived to the tower a few days earlier. They were greeted by Iruka, who had given a lecture after Naruto had informed him, the Hokage, of their encounter with Orochimaru. It was supposed to be kept a secret, so naturally half the village would know by the end of the day. Naruto had already reapplied his hedge and left his team for better company. Now they were getting ready for the next phase. I'm sorry to tell you all, but the Hokage spoke but was cut off. Maybe I should cough. Should do it. Cough. Hataya spoke. I am the cough proctor of the exam. Fine. Alright. There are too many of you, Hayate spoke. So we are going to have to do a preliminary round. Does anyone want to quit now? Kabuto was the only one who rose their hand. Alright, everyone but the one fighting go to the balcony. Sasuke versus Uro. You should give up, Sasuke spoke. You can't win against an Uchiha. We'll see about that, Uro stated. His name is spelled Yoroi. Uro, not sure how to say it. Uro made the first move. His hands began to glow with chakra. He charged at the Uchiha. It took a while, but Sasuke found out what he was doing. My chakra, he groaned. That's right. The Uchiha kicked Uro off his hands as he could. He drew a kunai and took a stance that angered Naruto. Dance of the poisonous snake. That attack wasn't meant to be lethal unless you let it bleed, but it is. Fireball, fire style, fireball jutsu. The Genin was burnt to ashes. Winner, Sasuke Uchiha, Hayate spoke. As Sasuke made his way to the balcony, he was stopped. Naruto stood in front of him, barely containing his rage. Tem. Naruto growled, "You have no right. What you going to do, dope?" asked Sasuke with a smirk. Naruto was only angered further. He grabbed the Uchiha by the neck and lifted him off the ground. Naruto, on hand, Sasuke, Kakashi ordered. Baka, you had a glare from Naruto. Shut her up. Naruto, the Hokage called. Please explain yourself. The technique Sasuke just half-assed was mine. Naruto spoke. I created it myself. Naruto, you shouldn't make up lies, Kakashi spoke. I can vouch for him, Anko spoke. He based it off the style of poisonous snakes. It's fast and it seems easy to ignore, but give it time and you'll die of blood loss like poison. You should feel honored, Sasuke spoke with arrogance. I found the attack worthy, so I made it my own. Naruto increased the pressure of his hold. Naruto stopped, the Hokage spoke. I'm sure you don't need to kill him. Fine, Naruto muttered, releasing Sasuke. But I'll get my way. That's fine, Hiruzen assured, but not now. Come on, Sasuke, Kakashi called. We need to deal with a little problem you have. Shino versus Zaku. That fight went as canon. Shino wins. Kankuro versus the stretchy guy. It went as canon. Kankuro wins. Sakura versus Ino. They both tied. Tamari versus Tenten. Canon. Tamari wins. How was that? Naruto-kun, Tamari asked. Am I one of your Heims yet? That was brutal, Naruto spoke. And no. Tamari simply pouted before walking away. She stopped and looked directly at Naruto. Mark my words, she stated, I will rub those whiskers. Naru-chan, I'll go call in a sickening sweet voice. Is there something you want to tell me? Maybe about that sand girl? No, behind, he spoke. There's nothing between us. Good, she cheered. I was worried 4 women weren't enough for you. 4, Kakuro and Kiba shouted. The Hokage and Kakuro experienced a terrible case of nose bleeding. Kakashi, who just returned, was having a perverted giggle attack. Hatake and Asama sent unnoticed glares to the blood. Kiba was shaking in unfolding rage. You're dating the proctor, my sister, and 2 others, Kiba shouted. If I fight you, then you're dead. Shikamaru versus Kin. Shikamaru wins. Naruto versus Kiba. Yes, Kiba shouted. Now I can teach this dope a lesson. But I don't want to learn now, Naruto stated. What? Shut up and listen, Kiba shouted. I'm all ear. Using hedge, Naruto created several large ears in various places of his bodies. That's gross. You just don't understand the power of hedge, Naruto spoke. Which is surprising since your sensei is a genjutsu specialist. Forget genjutsu, Kiba shouted Naruto. Naruto, Anko called. Why not show him? Well, your hedge is... Gladly, Naruto said. Akamaru ran towards Naruto and bit him. Although Akamaru was a small dog, he had a powerful bite. It didn't help that there was chakra mixed in with his teeth. Good thing Naruto had a high pain tolerance. Heal, heal, Naruto shouted as he jumped on one leg. How would you like a case of several ears? How would you like a case of 7-ear-itch bone teeth? Naruto's head turned into a man-sized orange flea. You'll free the flea. He began chasing Akamaru across the arena. It was actually pretty funny and disgusting at the same time. It lasted until Kiba threw a powerful substance into Naruto's face. Whenever it was, whatever it was, it caused a burning sensation to Naruto's face. What was that? Naruto asked in his human form. Flea powder, Kiba answered. When you live with dogs, you learn to prepare. It was true. Now come on, I'll show you why I'm top dog around here. You know, Naruto spoke, tightening his blindfold. I've always been a cool cat. He hedged into a man-sized orange tomcat. But baby, look at me meow. The cat ran towards Kiba. The feline delivered a scratch after scratch at Kiba, who barely was able to dodge. Kiba knew that he was in trouble. He needed some space. Akamaru, he called. The dog ran behind the cat. Naruto did something insane. He bit Naruto's tail with a chakra-infused bite. This caused Naruto to jump straight to the ceiling in pain. It didn't help his image that Akamaru was barking at him while running in circles. Like cat, like dog. Not everyone was laughing at him. He began to shake in rage. Naruto didn't like being laughed at, so he undid his blindfold. An unnatural chill silenced the laughing. The walls became black and it seemed to close in on everyone. From the unnatural darkness, a untold number. Sorry about the yawning, guys. I just woke up. From the unnatural darkness, a unfolded number of giant glowing fox eyes glared. The hedge he was wearing hadn't been done but altered. He was a half man, half QB form, the same one he had taken on the bridge right before slaughtering the bandits. His eyes glared into Kiba and Akamaru with great rage, gave a mighty roar, and with a great speed he stood before the two. Using one tail, he grabbed Akamaru and began squeezing. Five others attached to Kiba, one of each limb and one on his neck. The tails on Kiba's limb began pulling in opposite directions. One on the neck pulled as well as squeezed. Who's laughing now? He growled. Who's laughing now? Naruto, Kunoichi called. Stop this instant. Naruto released both Kiba and Akamaru, who were struggling to breathe. He also undid the illusion. He had the area and himself in. He couldn't meet Kunoichi's gaze. For him, disappointment of any of his times was too great a shame. It didn't help that he had put his blindfold back on. "Oh, I'm not mad at you," she assured. "But how will Hana feel? You hurt Kiba too badly." Sensei, Kiba couldn't believe what he was hearing. "You're one of the two, aren't you? That's why you always smell like foxes. You're dating Naruto as well." Well, she didn't like the glaze she was getting from she didn't like the gazes she was getting. Naruto finished the match. She couldn't meet Hana's gaze. "I will not lose this dope," Kiba shouted. "He actually thinks he's worthy of my sister," he continued. I'm tired of them keeping the clan up all night when he visits her." This brought out some blushes and nosebleeds, and my mom only encourages it so she can get grandpups. "Kiba," Ino called, "check your kunai pouch." "What? Why?" "If you want the baka to really suffer," she stated, "show him what's in it." Fine. Kiba did wa Fine. Kiba did want to hurt him. When he reached into his pocket, he pulled out a few pictures of as he examined them, he couldn't help but smirk. These would give him what he wanted with interest. Sorry about that. If you guys are looking at the phone or computer, sorry about that. "Hey Baka," Ino called. "You should take a look at them as well." Kiba tossed the pictures into the air and let them scatter. Everyone saw the pictures. "Kiba," Kurenai growled, "you fool." "No. Naruto-kun." As Naruto examined them, he felt a cold hand grab his heart. On each picture was a different one of his hands. They each were with a different man. Anko with Iruka, Asuma with Kurenai, Yu-Gi-Oh with Hatake, the coughing guy. Well, dope." Kiba spoke. "Anything to say?" Everyone watched as the blonde calmly walked towards Kiba. Naruto delivered a devastating punch to Kiba's face. The blow mostly broke his nose, but that wasn't all. The force behind it sent Kiba sailing into a wall across the arena. On impact, Kiba became lodged into the wall and created a crater. Naruto wasn't done. The blonde began to deliver punch after punch to Kiba's face, each one digging Kiba further into the wall, each one drawing more and more blood from the dog user. Kiba was beginning to fall unconscious. Naruto wasn't going to have that. He punched Kiba in the gut. The blow forced him awake for the continued punishment. It also caused him to double over and spit both blood and vomit. He weakly looked at Naruto and regretted it. What he saw wasn't the blonde he ridiculed. What he saw was a hair of crimson red eyes that made him afraid. Naruto glared into Kiba's eyes with such intensity that he nearly fainted again. As Kiba started, he caught a glimpse of Naruto's fox glare technique. Kiba gave a horrible scream that Naruto showed him. What Naruto showed him was so full of anger that it was maddening. Kiba delivered one final punch to Kiba. This time he fell unconscious. No one could believe what they saw, especially coming from Naruto. That was one of the most savage beating they have ever seen. It wasn't even a real fight or even a beating. It was punishment. Naruto, Uncle called. Is it true? He asked them. They wanted to say no, but they couldn't lie to Naruto. Yes, Uncle, and Kurenai answered. He looked to the Ambu. He looked to the cat mask Ambu. She nodded her head. Why didn't you tell me? He asked. Why did you lead me on? Don't feel bad, Asuma spoke. You can at least say you went all the way with the Ice Queens, he continued. And on the first day, on the same night, you chose him over me? He asked Kurenai. She wouldn't meet his blindfolded gaze. Well, cough. You were just a kid. Hatake spoke. And you're half dead, Naruto stated, getting a glare from Hatake. Hate? I don't know. What's your point? Listen, you little. Hatake was barely stopping himself. Say it, Naruto ordered. I want you to say it. Hatake didn't know what came over him, but he said it. Demon, he shouted. You're a demon. You broke the third law, Naruto stated, undoing the cloth, punishable by death. Hatake. Ambu dressed. Yu-Gi-Oh called, don't look into his eyes. Too late. He said, Shinsho no Ippo, Stage 2. This stage was the one Naruto thought was the cruelest. In an average battle, he wouldn't use it. He just didn't care though. He wanted this fool to suffer. It literally froze the person's lungs with fear. Hatake couldn't breathe. He was literally suffocating from fear. He fell to the ground, gasping for air. He fell to the ground, gasping for air. His sick lungs. But he was denied. He couldn't turn his terrified gaze from Naruto. It became obvious to everyone why Hatake couldn't breathe. Naruto's hedge ended, and everyone saw what he really looked like. No longer was he an orange wearing buffoon. Now he was blood red wearing shinobi. It hurts, doesn't it? Naruto asked. To feel those disgusting lungs of yours being denied of air, he spoke. To feel them burned with each gasp, each passing second, begging for an end. He then lowered his voice. One way or another. Everyone was shocked at what they saw. They couldn't believe the cruelty Naruto was showing. Naruto, please stop. Yugao begged. Please for her, please. Her pleas fell on deaf ears. He watched him squirm. Asuma decided to step in and end it. Stand down, kid, he warned. Or I'll have to take you down. Naruto wasn't listening. Look, I know how you feel, kid, but you can't do this to a fellow shinobi. You know how I feel? Naruto asked. Yeah. You know nothing on how I feel, Naruto stated. I despise you both so intensely that I can't tell if my vision is blurry from my broken heart or unforgiving rage. Everyone could feel both his voice Everyone could feel both in his voice. Once I am done with the hatake, I will gut you on I will gut you with a honest to calmly smile on my face. Let's end this, Asama stated. Naruto raised his sword so that it reflected his eyes. Shino Ipota Stage 3. He felt the power began to surge through him. No, Hanko and Kurenai shouted. They needed to act if they were to save their men. String being illusion, Kurenai used this to restrict his movements, striking shadow snakes. Anko used this to separate Naruto from his sword. Dance of the Crescent Moon, Yugao split into 3 clones and performed the dance. They were 3 blades pointing to various areas of various vital places by Yugao. They stopped short of piercing the skin. Himes, he couldn't believe what was happening. Don't call us that, Yugao snapped. How could you do that? Uncle asked. After you promised me. I'm so ashamed of you, Naruto, Kurenai stated. This was really happening. His hands were turning on him. For another man, each. Naruto, Hiruzen called in an empty tone. He is my son. They watched as Naruto before them faded away. He reappeared in the balcony with a blank look on his face. Look at you two, the Jonin wasted and gasping for air. He spoke to Asuma and Hatake. Fuck man, I'm tearing up. But you don't get to go yet. When your very lives are broken around you, he lowered his voice. Fuck. I'm crying. Then you have permission to die, so stand for now. Hatake and Asuma were finally regaining their breaths. I was a fool to think you 3 were any different in the end, he stated to his Himes. Once again, Naruto faded out of existence. This time he didn't reappear in the room. You just have to teach him of all the people the Confline Jutsu, Kakashi asked. We'll be lucky if we ever find him. When Naruto didn't want to be found, he wouldn't be. All of his years living in the village made sure he learned to be stealthy. If possible, this would only make it harder. Hey, what was that? Ino asked, pointing to the area. It was a scroll. It was obvious who left it. That was why no one wanted to open it, especially his former Himes. Fine, I'll open it, Hiruzen stated. Shadow Clone Jutsu. What? Don't any of you look at me like that, he ordered. This is Naruto. He wasn't really going near that thing. The clone opened it, but hesitated. The clone read it out loud. Dear Heim, I want you all to know how much I love you. And I know that I don't deserve any of you, but I will do my best to make you happy. Without any of you, I would be nothing. It is you four that kept me whole. You four kept me from giving in to my fury. Without any of you, I would have no purpose. If I were to lose you, I would just give up. If any of you were to die, then I would die right alongside you. I would happily follow any of you to hell if it made you happy. There, there was a seal on the designated to Akko. When he saw what it was in front of her heart nearly stopped. It was a severed hand of the one she hated the most. It was a severed hand of Orochimaru. I know I couldn't beat him, but I will free you from that curse if he left you. He left you. Even if it cost me my life. The snake mistress was in tears. All of them were in tears. They had broken the hearts of, of someone who had loved them. Naruto, who had never known love, just stated that he would happily die for any of them. Naruto never lied. They thought as one. P.S. If you aren't one of my harms and you're reading this, then as a tribute to Akko, Dodge, the Hokage clone was greeted by a face full of kunai. At the end of each kunai was a high-powered explosive note that detonated on contact. That was a little extreme, many thought. What have we done? As they asked themselves. We've just done something not even a villager could do, Hiruzen spoke. You just broke Naruto's spirit. Something many thought impossible. What happens now? That's the main question, isn't it? Hiruzen asked. And what will he do now? That was the real question. Naruto was a Genjutsu genius. He had near limitless chakra and stamina to match. There was also a giant demon sealed in his stomach. So that's the end of part 12. Holy fuck, I can't believe I actually started crying. I read this story beforehand, so I thought it wouldn't get me, but it still got me. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed. If any of you guys cried, comment down below. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys could please like and subscribe, it would help me very much. And thank you all for watching or listening.